The pick is in.
The Denver Nuggets selection in the 2024 NBA draft is in. I am Kylan Mills, and we're joined by Locked On Nuggets host Swipa. Great to have you here to break down who the Nuggets selected in the first round of the NBA draft. Now, this is presented by LinkedIn Jobs. You can find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free on linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. Now, the Nuggets traded up with the Phoenix Suns for the 22nd overall pick because apparently they really wanted Dayton big man Daron Holmes II. Based on the needs, based on where this team is at, coming off a disappointing loss to the Timberwolves this past season in the NBA playoffs, what do you make of this pick, Swipa?
Yeah, I think this is great for them. And they have been putting it out there that this was the guy that they wanted for over a month now. There were reports saying that Holmes has shut down the rest of his training camp invites because he has seemingly gotten a promise that the Nuggets were going to draft him should he get into range. And so this also shows how much they want him. The fact that they gave up the 56th pick this year, the 28th pick this year, and 2 future seconds for Holmes, it shows you how desperate they were to bring him into the building. And again, Holmes is a 6'10", good vertical spacer. He's a good shooter, great switch big. He's a very good defender. And if you see how the Denver Nuggets have built their roster, they are trying to put athletes behind Nikola Jokic, from Christian Brown, a 6'6" two-way guard, to Peyton Watson, a 6'7" elite defender, and now getting Holmes in the building, a 6'10" elite defender that's going to be able to possibly even play next to Nikola Jokic, but to also make sure that they can put a competent big in that's going to alleviate some of the issues they might have defensively. So it's a really good pick for Denver.
Holmes out of Dayton, you pointed it out, 6'9", 6'10", 236, a skilled interior scorer, really good in the pick and roll, brings a lot to the table for sure. But are there any weaknesses that you have any concerns about?
Yeah, his post game isn't super strong yet. He's still a little bit too heavy with his right hand, which he can cause some turnover sometime because he rushes himself a little bit. So he has a lot of room to grow. Offensively, it's going to take him some time because obviously, as you know, getting into an NBA offense is a task.
Yeah.
And so learning your place in that offense, especially in the Denver Nuggets offense where you're playing with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and MPJ and AG, they're so peculiar in how they're playing, and they're elite because they fit into an identity, but it takes a minute to understand your role. So he's going to have to develop on some things and just get some experience underneath his belt. But once he does, I think he does have a chance to be something special offensively.
One thing that you always hear chatter about when you get a first-round selection who comes out of a mid-major like Dayton, of course, you've seen success with a player like Obi Toppin who's able to come out and do it, but is just, will the athleticism and what they're able to do at that level translate to the NBA? Because in terms of physicality, it is a little bit of a jump from those mid-major type of schools to a Power 5 or major conference school for sure. What do you see when you watch his skill set that makes you believe this is going to translate immediately?
Yeah, athleticism for sure. And then when you have the ability to step out into space against guards and against wings at the college level, that actually projects pretty well. So again, he's very long. He doesn't have like the most fluid movement, but he's already shown on tape that he can stay in front of smaller, faster offensive players. And so if you're able to translate that into the league, and again, his three-point shot boomed up to above 40% this last season. So is that going to carry over? Possibly, but at least shows you that the shooting mechanics and touch are there for him to make those improvements. So the athleticism should bring itself to the NBA, and as well as his switchability. But if he can figure out that other end in some ways, this could be a really quality role player for the Nuggets.
A 6'9", 6'10" player who can step out and stretch the floor. Very attractive to a lot of NBA teams. Will be exciting to see what he's able to do. Thanks so much, Swipa. Appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for sharing your knowledge here with us.
Absolutely.
Daron Holmes II from Dayton decided to come back for one more go-round with the Flyers, and it paid off despite first-round buzz last season. I'm Isaac Shade from Locked On College Basketball. Holmes is a 21-year-old, 6'10", 220-pound forward with a 7'1" wingspan who was the 24 A10 Player of the Year and a consensus second-team All-American. In his electric junior year for the Flyers, Holmes averaged 20.4 points, 8.5 boards, 2.6 assists, and 2.1 blocks while shooting a career high 38.6% from three. His biggest growth last year was on the defensive end, where he was also named the A10 Defensive Player of the Year. The bulking up that Holmes did last offseason, plus his defensive growth and improved shooting, should allow him to contribute right away at the NBA level. Player comp, give me Naz Reid, or how about Nick Claxton? For more on Daron Holmes and all things college basketball, follow and subscribe Locked On College Basketball on YouTube and anywhere else you get podcasts.
And for all things Denver Nuggets, make sure you subscribe to Locked On Nuggets over on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. And to continue to follow our coverage of the 2024 NBA Draft, subscribe to Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.